Welcome to Season 2 of the Heart to Heart podcast. To kick off the season, Marc and I had the pleasure of speaking with the multifaceted Jesse Eisenberg, renowned for his diverse film roles, including acclaimed performances in The Social Network, Zombieland, and Now You See Me, as well as his work as a writer and filmmaker. In part one of our conversation, Jesse dives into his childhood anxieties, early success, and the surprising turns his career has taken. His approach to acting and candid reflections on his film work provide a refreshing and insightful perspective. This honest discussion offers experiences that any actor can relate to and learn from. Before you listen, be sure to support the podcast with a 5-star rating and a review.
So I was in the audience at the Sundance Echo screening of A Real Pain. Yeah. And I was just, the film ended, and as soon as it ended, I said to myself, I was like, I got to figure out a way of having, this podcast is mostly geared towards actors. Okay. So I was like, I got to figure out a way to get to Jesse, because first of all, the film, as an audience member, I know you probably know this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. When you experience being able to laugh your ass off and also cry in the same film, it's a gift.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
And that's what happened for me and for the audience.
Wow. Yeah, it was surprising to me because we had done some screenings that were really just one that was not great. And so I thought we had no idea what the movie people would react.
Oh my gosh. It was incredible. And so, the main thing is after you agreed to do it, I started doing more research about you. And what I love, and what the actors are going to love to hear, Jesse, is they get taught so many things, as you know, as an actor. Mm-hmm. And you have never, well, maybe you were once, but it seems like you're not afraid to be yourself. I mean, you are who you are. There's that fine balance about, playing the character, but also, bringing yourself to the character that you play. And I love hearing that. What motivates you, at least what I've gotten from listening to other podcasts, is fear, anxiety, and I think you've even said misery. Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Wait, and sorry, when is this are we now?
Oh, yeah, we're just in the conversation because it's so much better than an official beginning. Yeah, we're recording. Yeah. Okay, it'll be edited too. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Okay, not that I need to do anything, but okay, sorry. And cut that all out. Okay, great. Basically, yeah. I mean, I have, I've been, mainly, yes, motivated by anxieties and, things that I would consider probably kind of negative motivations. When I was younger, I started acting, and I was it was a really amazing outlet for me, a kid who had troubles in school. And so I guess at that point, I was kind of escaping into the arts in general and escaping into a character more specifically. And kind of still do a similar thing. Although really only in the last few months have I felt a little more secure in my own creative career, because I've been writing since I'm and selling scripts since I'm 17. And by selling, I mean for $0, but optioned. I was writing screenplays since I'm 17 that were optioned by big companies. And nothing has ever, I've had many plays on, but no movies that have ever been made except 2 movies that I've directed. And finally, my new movie was really well received. And since that time, I've just had a weight lifted off of my shoulders that I don't have to panic about everything, because I felt for the first time I was in control of something that was well received. As an actor, when you're in things that are well received, a lot of times you feel a little bit oh God, I hope I get into another one, because sometimes it can seem so impossible. I've been in movies that were received really well, but I felt like my contribution was not the thing that made it so great. I felt like I just really got lucky and won the lottery to get to act in a really good thing. And so now I have a little bit of weight lifted off my shoulders. Okay, I can always write and make something that that could possibly be well received. But yes, otherwise I've always been kind of guided by what I would consider negative motivations. Scared of the bad thing happening rather than hopeful that a good thing does.
Well, it's amazing, Jesse, because for every Jesse Eisenberg, I remember I was pursuing an acting career. I was doing a play at the Pearl Theater. It was like all's well that ends well. It's my turn to go out. And, those voices in your head, I'm sure you had them when you were younger, they're like, you're going to suck. You're going to screw this up. The people are going to hate. And, they would paralyze me to the point I was like, you know what? I got to do something else.
Yes. I can relate to that so specifically. I mean, the last play that I did, I took 6 months to write it, and then I acted in it for 2 years. And even by the last show, I was having a panic attack backstage. Before every performance, I'd have a panic attack, even the last one, because I thought, oh, this is the last one and it's gone well so far. So of course, this is the one where I'm not only going to do badly in the show, but I'm going to accidentally say something humiliating on stage. My deepest embarrassments, I'm going to suddenly turn to the audience and say, and I don't know why I had this thought, but it was so kind of paralyzing that I really don't do plays. I do the plays that I write so I can kind of help them get on, but I just, theater makes me so, nervous. And the weird thing is, I love it when I'm out there, when I'm on the stage doing the thing. It's so thrilling, but it's just the anticipatory, anxiety that it just kind of like is paralyzing. But I did have this one thought, which was just like, there's nothing that makes me more uncomfortable than going on stage every day and doing this play. And then I thought, well, maybe it would make me more uncomfortable to not be doing this, because I just can't imagine sitting home and not doing this thing that is clearly inside of me, because I wrote this particular play was quite personal. And so I was thinking, like, maybe actually it would be worse staying home than going on stage, but both are uncomfortable.
So Jesse, would you say this is true? Like, so when you first got into acting, you did it because, hey, it got you out of school and, you hated being in the classroom. But then you started to discover, hey, you know what? Because of so many reasons, including, getting involved in a character, that you loved it.
Yeah. And also getting like some positive encouragement. Like, I wasn't a big kid in school and I was really shy. And then suddenly when I was in plays, I got positive encouragement. And it's just like that random thing of like, people really enjoy what they're good at, because they might not even necessarily enjoy the thing at its core, but getting positive reinforcement makes everything feel better. And I think that's possibly what happened to me, is suddenly adults were saying, you did a great job. And I wasn't like a very good student and was not like a popular kid, of course. So like getting that encouragement from somewhere else was great. And then I came to love it. And I kind of came to have, let's say, my own opinions about it, my own voice, my own style and thoughts about it. But initially I didn't come to it because of my great deep love of theater. That was not why I was initially motivated. Really, I have an older sister who was performing in children's theater, and I just wanted to do what she was doing on the weekends. And it was easier for my parents to go to the same place every weekend than having kids with two different interests. So I really just was doing that. But again, I got positive reinforcement, and I kind of found people that were a little more like me, more emotional kids rather than sporty kids, where I was going to school. So yeah, that's what it was.
Hey, it's Brian. I'm dropping in on an important announcement. What you need to know is you have more control over your career than you think. The thing standing between you and the career you want is your connections. And that's where One-on-One Next Level comes in. If you are not a member yet, you can apply to join at oneononenextlevel.com. Press pause and do that now. If you are already a member and you are ready to get back on track, we want to invite you to book a strategy session with us led by myself personally. We will help you prioritize which classes make the most sense given your career goals. You can find these under the Resource Hub in your account portal. We can't wait to hear your success story.
When you were a kid, when you were the unpopular kid, did that bother you?
No, I was just nervous all the time. I had terrible, separation anxiety. I didn't want to be with people my own age. I wanted to be with adults. And I just was, I basically cried every day in first grade to the point where if I didn't cry during the week at the bus stop on Friday, the bus driver would hand out candy to everybody on the bus. So on Friday, you would hear the kids from down the block open windows on the bus screaming, "Don't cry, Jesse, because don't cry, Jesse." And they chanted this all the way down the block because they would get Tootsie Rolls if I didn't cry. So I was just like a sad kid. I don't know really why, but basically I was just like a really sad kid. And, so just having anything to do that was outside of that felt better.
And when did you make a conscious decision that you wanted to make acting your career as an adult?
Yes, it was a really specific conscious decision, which was just that I was supposed to go to NYU when I was 18. And I'd been doing like theater up until that point, and even did a movie in my senior year of high school. And basically, I did not think I was going to pursue it. I guess I assumed I would be a writer or a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
My wife, my friends, my parents are teachers, so I guess I assumed that's probably what I would go into. And I never thought of acting as a really stable career, because it's
Right.
really not for most people. Or for, it's not even for like even the successful actors. They're still, have years where they're not getting a good job. But anyway, so no, and then but then right before the school year started, I was supposed to start NYU in September of 2001, and I got sent to do a reading of this movie called Roger Dodger, and then we did a reading of it, and the reading went well, and then the director ran into a rich man at a coffee shop who offered him money to do the movie. I mean, just a series of really fluky coincidences, and they were able to make the movie. And the director said, "Do you want to do the movie in the fall?" And I was like, yes, of course, I want to do it. It's an amazing movie. I love the part. And my dad said, "No, you can always act if you want on the side, but this is college. If you defer, you'll never go back." And my dad is a college professor, so he had something to say about that. And I said, "Please just do me a favor. Please just read this script of Roger Dodger. Please just read it and then tell me." And I was living at home at the time. I was 17 still. And I remember driving out to go do something during the day, and I came back, and my dad was in the guest room where he where he had his computer, and he was reading the script. And I don't know if he had tears in his eyes or just the look I remember on his face was something had changed in him. He was like, "This is incredible. You have to do this." And to hear my dad, who was a college teacher and wanted me to obviously pursue my education, hear him say that meant everything. It meant that, oh, I can do this as an adult. And then I did the movie, and for the year after, I was not getting any acting parts. So I was like I started going to the new school university, which allowed me to kind of like take certain classes without having a full schedule. And I was interning at a company, and I hated where I was interning. And the movie then came out and was like kind of a hit in New York. It was taken seriously. It was like a great movie. The main actor in it won the Best Actor at the National Board of Review Awards which is like for $1 million movie, unheard of. And basically, it was just like a hit movie, and I started getting offered parts, even parts in like the next year. I was offered a part in like a Wes Craven horror movie that I did. Like basically, I just got parts to the point where my dad said, "Yes, you can make a living from this. If you can go back and do school every other semester or whatever, then go for it." And so it was a real conscious decision, not from me really, but from my parents, saying, "Yeah, you can pursue this." But it was all luck. I mean, it's completely luck. If I didn't get into that movie, I would not be doing this.
So, Jesse, is there one? And I know you say that the best way to learn is by doing, right? And
Sure.
Is there one acting teacher that you would say that really had a major effect on your acting career?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, so I went to Performing Arts High School for my senior year, called PPAS, which is in Midtown Manhattan. And we had some great acting teachers there. But really it's strange to even say this because it's so unusual, but basically after I started working and getting like really good parts in movies, I was recommended to this amazing acting teacher named Greta Cat, and she does this very unusual work, but just one-on-one. So it's not like an acting class. She does this one-on-one work where you're like doing dream exercises, and the experience and the curriculum, if I could call it that, is really based on like, how can this character be helpful to you in some way? Like, what can you explore in this character that has meaning for you? And it allows you, by doing it this way, to invest in the character in a way that's really personal and emotional, and it helps you perform. And she's been really great. I really love her. In terms of acting class, I think I was probably too young to like in high school to like really appreciate what was happening. I was kind of just trying to make my friends laugh a lot. There was this one guy whose name escapes me at the moment, who was like, I was doing a monologue and I was trying to be funny to my classmates, and not funny in like I wasn't trying to like undermine the class. I was just trying to make them laugh with my monologue. And he was screaming at me from the back of the room, to get me to take it seriously. And I was so humiliated, but it was really impactful, because basically what he was doing was he was basically saying like, yeah, you be funny, but you take this really, really seriously. And if you want to be funny, that's okay. But you're a clown and the stakes are life and death. And I was like, oh, it was really helpful and embarrassing, but like humbling in a good way. And he made a difference. God, what was his name? David something. And then going to this woman, Greta, has been really helpful. And then I assistant taught a class at NYU at the Atlantic Theater Company. And I was the assistant to a friend of mine, Maggie Kiley, who's now a great director. At the time, she was the youngest member of the Atlantic Theater Company, and she taught at the school. And I assistant taught her, but I was just a bad teacher. I'm not good at it because my opinions are so strong on acting, I think. 'Cause I was just like, no, she's a genius. He's a genius. No. Instead of actually trying to help people be the best version of themselves, I was just, basically just there was a girl in there who was the greatest actress that I've ever seen, and she's still acting, and she's doing well. And but a lot of the other people, I just was like, no, they shouldn't do this. They shouldn't do this. Which is not the job of a teacher. The job of a teacher is to try to make somebody the best possible version of what they can be. But I guess I was just too cynical or something. And I know how difficult the entertainment industry is, that I just felt bad for the kids that I didn't think were great. And I was just like, I hope they find something else, because it's going to be so hard to pursue this as a career. And I don't know, maybe I was just raised more practically than dreamily. And so I guess I just had that feeling. But Maggie, on the other hand, was a great teacher, and she was encouraging everybody. And, she was doing exactly the right thing to do.
So Greta Cat, do you know, there was there was a woman named Sandra Cat.
Yeah, that's her mom.
That's her mom. Okay.
Yeah, Sandra is above my milieu. I know she does work with some people sometimes, but no, she's a legend.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey folks, Brian here. Marc and I often cringe when people call One-on-One Next Level a workshop studio, because we are so much more than that. You and I both know that not all workshop studios are the same, and I can tell you with complete confidence that no other studio offers the same level of care or programming that we do, and we do so with pride. Here's just a few examples.
I'm Emily, and before One-on-One Next Level, I was in a super dark place in my career. I tried a lot of things to find representation, but nothing seemed to work, and I felt invisible. Then, almost as a Hail Mary, I signed up for a manager session. It was incredible, but it was also the thing to land me a manager. Since then, I booked a national commercial, I've gone on to create a thriving voiceover career, and signed with an agent, all through these classes and programs. One-on-One Next Level has been the single most important thing that's influenced my acting career and life in so many ways.
I'm Neil. In the last year, I booked 2 co-stars and 1 top-of-show guest star on a major TV series. I also shot my first lead in a feature film. In fact, I've hit 20 big milestones thanks to the connections that I've made in classes at One-on-One Next Level. The key has been getting in front of casting directors. And that's why I love One-on-One Next Level. If you're not a member yet, what are you waiting for? Every actor deserves face time with the people in the business who can move your career forward. And One-on-One Next Level can help you do that.
Did you know One-on-One Next Level produces over 335 events and classes each month? Whether you join us in person or attend on Zoom, you can meet with A-list casting directors, filmmakers, TV showrunners, and executive producers, as well as agents and managers when you become a member. These days, it's harder and harder to get real face time with industry pros, but One-on-One Next Level makes it possible. To become a member, visit www.oneononenextlevel.com and click join. We can't wait to hear your success story.
So, you know what, Jesse? You're talking about how you came from this place of insecurity, whatever, but then you worked your way into having a career. And, I don't think it's an accident that one of your favorite players, if not your favorite NBA player, is it true? Dan Marley?
Yeah, well done, yes.
Okay, well, what I remember about him, right, is before Barkley came to his team, Charles Barkley, he was known as a scrapper, right? He would hustle for the ball, and he was known for a guy who was a real hustler. Okay, that was his game, right? But then when Charles Barkley came to the team, he reinvented himself by being a 3-point shooter.
Oh,
so it's almost over the years. I mean, listen, you've always remained Jesse, but I'm sure you feel there's something you can think of where you had to roll with the times as you started to get these bigger projects or.
Yes, exactly. I remember because when I started acting was 2002, and I remember at the time Ben Stiller was in all of these movies, and I just thought, oh, that's what I'll be because I'm funny, and I guess I didn't think that anybody would think of me for drama because I just thought I'm funny in person. So like I thought that's what I would play. And so I asked my agent, maybe I could be like that. And then I just started getting all these basically drama roles. Like in 2000, I just started getting these drama roles, I guess because that movie Roger Dodger was more of a drama. And then I got cast in another popular independent film, The Squid and the Whale, which was a drama. And so I basically just wound up, I guess, on a path that I hadn't expected. And then I would read these comedies, like the silly comedies, and I auditioned for this movie called Eurotrip. I wanted to be in this movie more than anything. It was the writers of Seinfeld. They wrote this European vacation movie for teenagers, or college, like high school graduates, or whatever. And I desperate to be in it, and I didn't get the part. And I was like, I remember doing the audition, and I was taking the part very seriously, but they wanted, it to be funny. And I, as an actor, was just thinking like, no, but he wouldn't be funny. His girlfriend just broke up with him. He'd be miserable. But I was doing it incorrectly for the tone. But my point is, like, in some ways, my instincts dramatically made me kind of force me into a career of drama that I didn't expect, but probably liked more. And I just didn't get into these comedies. I didn't get into these big comedies. The first big budget comedy I was in was Zombieland, but the truth is they weren't making it comedically. It was basically like 4 dramatic actors, like treating it realistically. It was not like that kind of movie where it's like, you're making silly faces and thinking that was awkward, that kind of thing. It's not like that kind of broad comedy. And so I just never really got into that world too much. And I guess maybe for the better, because I don't know how long you could last in the comedy world, without doing some dramatic work too. So I got super lucky, and my instincts, I guess, geared me towards doing more drama, even though I would say my taste lies more in funny stuff.
Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't done it yet, please support Heart to Heart with a 5-star rating and a review.